Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. Geeky Sparkles is sitting this video out. She's not really interested in talking about TikTok. I'm going to talk about TikTok because I did watch part of the hearing yesterday regarding the banning of TikTok, and we're going to kind of do a real quick recap of it. I'll give you my opinion on it if you actually care about my opinion. I think if the government had it their way, they probably would just push the nuke button on TikTok now and get rid of it completely. But I gotta tell you, I can see both sides of it, and I have concerns. I have concerns about the direction that hearing went in. Absolutely, positively, I do agree that TikTok does have security issues and is a security concern. That being said, I could see our government using a TikTok ban or heavily censoring TikTok as a Trojan horse to heavily censor every other social media platform, even more so than they've been censored already, and that concerns me a little bit. So I'm gonna give you some thoughts on that before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 300,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We're getting there. We're getting there. We are not being censored on YouTube, as far as I know. Some people said that they don't see our content as much as they used to, but it could just be the algorithm. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I did watch this hearing yesterday. My takeaway is it was a bunch of boomers screaming at this guy about the devil TikTok and how it's hurting the youths. I think there are some very valid concerns. I do think TikTok is some kind of like a psyop weapon. It is very curious that China does not allow the content on TikTok that they allow over here. That's kind of curious. And yeah, I think there are a lot of mentally ill people on TikTok, and I think TikTok helps push mental issues onto the youths, right? That being said, it was kind of wild hearing some of these senators grill the CEO of TikTok, because they really did sound like a bunch of boomers trying to get rock and roll banned, because a lot of the complaints they had about TikTok are applicable to other social media platforms, to other websites, but let's go out to NBC here, or CNBC. They kind of have the 5 key takeaways. It was a 5-hour grilling. I watched about an hour and a half of it, or listened to it in the background, and I'm like, I don't even understand where they're coming from. So basically, every axe to grind that anyone had, they would bring it, and it was like all over the place. It was like, TikTok is hurting the youths. It's making people kill themselves. To TikTok is pushing disinformation about vaccines. To does TikTok use Wi-Fi? I mean, it's crazy stuff. Anyway, your platform should be banned. Energy and Commerce Committee Chair Kathy McMorris Rogers said at the opening, "I expect today you'll say anything to avoid this outcome." Rogers made a point of reminding Chu, that would be the CEO of TikTok. Yes, Shu Chu, I think his name is Shu Chu, I think, that he was sworn in and had a duty to be honest. During the much anticipated hearing on Thursday, several members echoed similar caution, highlighting the lack of confidence between the panel and its witness. Yeah, it was awkward. It was more awkward than the Mark Zuckerberg grilling. I don't think TikTok CEO had good answers for a lot of the questions, and I don't think he wanted to answer all the questions. I think he sidestepped a lot of the questions, which did not help his case at all. And he did get kind of like, and he did seem like he was caught in the headlights a couple of times. China made its stance clear beforehand. They said the most significant change that might have occurred prior to the hearing, a rep for the Commerce Ministry stated during a press conference in Beijing that any sale to a U.S. company would require approval from the CCP. Whatever guarantees Chu might have been able to make about how the platform secures American data were undercut by that statement. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what he says, right? It also gave lawmakers who are already planning to criticize Chu and his companies for worries about data security and content moderation policies, as well as the impact on the app for 150 million citizens, more than an hour and a half per day, more ammunition to attack the platform. That's it. It basically was just like, They were airing every grievance they had with TikTok. Chu stumbles while playing defense. These are the takeaways, right? In front of a chamber of primarily hostile senators who were determined to scrutinize his every statement and even prevented him from speaking. That is true. Chu did a decent job of defending himself and his app. I don't think so. I think he got caught off guard. The CEO attempted to reassure the members about data security, but his efforts were ineffective, especially when he provided evasive answers to their main worries. That was again, I didn't watch the whole thing, but what I saw was like, dude, just answer the question. Do you have stock or not? How much do you get paid per year? These are not hard questions. These are not invasive questions. This is pretty standard stuff. And he wouldn't even answer that. And he kept sidestepping things. It's like, no, the question is, well, ByteDance and China. It's like, no, just answer the damn question. It looks like you're trying to hide something. And maybe he was. Republican lawmaker from Florida, Neil Dunn, questioned whether TikTok's parent company ByteDance had spied on American citizens. At one point he stated, I don't think that spying is the correct word to describe it, before saying not to my knowledge. No, dude. Spying is not quite the right word we'd like to use. It sounds kind of threatening. We're just peeking. We're peeking on you. Lawmakers piling on could signal trouble. Key statements came from people who weren't even in the room. Marco Rubio, Republican from Florida, took aim at Chu's alleged lies and omissions and said momentum to ban TikTok is growing. Representative Michael McCall said Chu's testimony proved that TikTok needed to be sold or banned. It's interesting because I do remember one senator, the one representative, and I don't recall who it was off the top of my head, basically said that TikTok had done what only Putin could do, and it actually united Republicans and Democrats in a cause. And, that's pretty damning, right? We would characterize today's testimony by TikTok CEO Shuzi Chu, I think, in the Beltway as a disaster moment that will likely catalyze more calls by lawmakers and the White House to look to ban TikTok within the U.S. if the company does not look to spin off and force a sale from Chinese parent ByteDance. I actually agree. I think it was a disaster. I think it was a train wreck. The thing is that China might just let them ban it or shut it down rather than sell it. And that has come up before. They're like, in the grand scheme of things, is it really that much of a loss, or they stand to lose more if the US gets control of TikTok? And they might just be like, yeah, you don't have a right to our app, and that's it. They talked about suicide focus. That was heartbreaking, but again, this is where it kind of, from my point of view, veered into they stopped talking about privacy concerns and security concerns, and then they started talking about the content and content moderation. You shouldn't put things on the platform that might make people sad and hurt themselves. The thing is that's applicable to like every other social media platform. And if you're going to start monitoring content to that degree, then we're really in, for a completely different fight, and it's really going to be a very slippery slope. The algorithms are on one side of the screen, human brains are on the other. It's not a fair fight. Chu says TikTok unfairly targeted. I don't think they're unfairly targeted for accusations of being spyware and a possible PSYOP tool, but there are a lot of things that these senators, these representatives were rallying against are things that Facebook does, Twitter does, pretty much every other social media platform, YouTube. They said Chu tried to use TikTok's relevance for young people and small businesses in America as an argument for why the app should get congressional support. Instead, it actually strengthened U.S. lawmakers' argument that TikTok poses a threat to both national security and young people. There's billions of dollars at stake. TikTok's fate in the U.S. is on shakier ground than ever. Guys, again, I've told you, if you are putting content on TikTok and that is your main platform, that's bad. Right now, I would not be comfortable using TikTok as my main platform. We have a TikTok account. I don't update it very often. And until this thing blows over, I don't think I'm going to update it because I don't see the point. Until we know for sure that this thing is going to stick around. Young TikTok creators are like, oh my God, people are going to freak out. They're going to freak out if you ban it. And they will. They will freak out. In fact, one of the reasons for not banning TikTok was that so the Democrats get elected in 2024 because if Biden pushes for a TikTok ban, young people might turn on the Democrats. But yeah, a lot of creators are fervently trying to defend the platform. Of course they are. Of course they are, because that's their bread and butter, man, you know? But we have this guy down here. They have no idea how many people will freak out. This 21-year-old said lawmakers should also worry about pushback from teenagers and young adults. If they ban TikTok, they are absolutely clueless because they have no idea how many people will freak out. Oh my God, everybody's gonna freak out. For young people, this is the equivalent of someone saying, well, we'll take the television away, we'll take books away. It's that serious for us. This reminds me kind of in some way, again, the rock and roll thing, like we're gonna take the rock and roll records and we're gonna burn them. That being said, the rock and roll records weren't spying on us either, to the best of my knowledge. Some say too serious in some cases. Social platforms should be used to build an audience, not a place to build a business. Says this guy, CEO of Kajaba, which develops platforms for creators. I think this is the guy who used to work for TikTok, and he said the creator fund was a bunch of bullshit, that they never gave away $2 billion. They said they're going to give away $2 billion. They could probably get them on that too. If you advertise that you were giving away $2 billion to creators and you never gave the $2 billion away, they could probably get them for that too. He added, unfortunately, creators who rely solely on the platforms are at the mercy of changing algorithms that can drastically impact their ad revenue, hard to predict and often uninspiring brand deals, and a community of followers that could disappear. What I'm afraid of as a YouTube creator is that all of the craziest people from TikTok are going to come over here and start posting shorts, crazy ass shorts. But the same thing's going to apply, right? I mean, if they're calling for content moderation, then they're going to start turning an eye to Facebook and to YouTube and be like, yeah, well, we're going to censor content more heavily over there too, because we don't want people to get sad, you know. But here's the thing, and the Times, and again, this is where I'm of two minds on this, because they made a big part of the focus the content. And we had Republicans being like, you know, freedom of speech. But I'm like, but then we had them veering into the content. Then we had, you know, people in Democrats were like, you know, you're pushing vaccine misinformation, mask misinformation. This platform's dangerous and needs to be shut down because of that. And what I'm afraid is going to happen as a side effect, or maybe that really is the whole point of all of this, the root of it, is there's going to be a more draconian control by the government over social media, over the content, which means that YouTube is going to get worse. Facebook is going to get worse. Stuff is going to be more and more heavily monitored, you know, because they have to, because now the government set up some, you know, content moderation task force or some shit like that as a result of this, which I can completely see happening given how much of that hearing focused on the content that was being pushed on TikTok and not the security concerns. So it's a slippery slope. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. I would say if I had to bet today, I would say TikTok is going to get shut down at some point in the not too distant future. So if you're a TikTok creator, if you didn't already start building a life raft already when Trump was going to shut it down, you better start building. Maybe you can look up a TikTok for how to build a life raft. I don't know. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.